If you were to not ever like hunker down, sit down with the metronome and like work, if all you did with music was just play, you took out your horn or your piano and you just put on your favorite music and you just played day after day and only did the things you enjoy, do you think you can still become world class, or does becoming world class necessitate at least some level of like, I don't want to do it, but I'm gonna do it anyway?
I think in any field at all, music aside, you go anywhere and you have to commit yourself because people who are world class in that field are doing the very same thing. I think that's an interesting question. I think yeah, definitely the right person. For me personally, if I don't sit down and commit, some time to say like the Arbenz book and like really working on like the nuts and bolts of playing trombone and like really getting to the core of it. And this is just me personally. It's probably not, excuse me. It's probably not going to come out in the playing that I want it to come out in as clearly. Like if I don't sit with and again, it's all just personal to me. You don't want to speak for anyone else, but like if I don't sit down in the double tonguing section of the Arbenz book and practice it like a doodle tongue, or if I don't sit with my tuner and do long tones, then all of a sudden when I want to play along with Joe Henderson, I'm probably not going to play as in tune as I would as if I spent the half hour with the tuner. And maybe the half hour with the tuner wasn't like the highlight of my practice day. Yeah. But I definitely think it helps. Like focusing hyper specific things. That's something that you can do as a product of being an older, more mature musician, is to sit down and actually have the focus. It's the difference between us and little kids that we're teaching. It's important to foster the happiness and the joy in just playing, because right now, just playing is going to do it for them.
Right, word.
That's going to make them better. But like right now, maybe today, like I got to work on my intonation because it's a little bit out of tune. And maybe sitting down with my favorite, favorite J.J. Johnson record might not help my intonation today. Yeah. Which is just for me. But like, I think you definitely need those moments of like, I don't really want to, but today's the day. And also the consistency factor of it is, you're working muscles. Yeah. At least as I think as all of us, brass players, you're working muscles, saxophone player, you're working muscles. If you don't work a muscle, it atrophies.
Yeah, totally, of course.
And then all of a sudden, like, if I don't practice doodle tonguing for 4 days, it just bit by bit, and then a week or 2 weeks. I guess so.
Scary. To me, at least,
You can always, I think the flip side is you can always get it back.
You can, yeah.
Definitely. But, like, if you want to be that world class, part of world class, I think, is the consistency.
Yeah. Yeah. I think because I've been, like, super had a bad relationship with my craft at some points because it felt like so much work and pressure to do. I think that's what we were talking about before, but I think if your goal, if you tell yourself your goal is, I want to become world class at this, I want to be able to, I don't want to say compete, but be amongst, the best of the best on this instrument to really say something that has, world class things, then you have to just accept that this is not going to be play all the time. And
I think a lot of that comes down to the approach of it and the self-talk. Like I used to be a really, really angry practicer. Like punching walls and shit, like bad stuff. Because I thought I had to be perfect 100% of the time, and then you crack a note and you're like, God damn it, my parents are, I hope they're watching this. They remember me in the basement. I don't do it anymore. Practicing in the basement and just screaming, cursing myself out. Wow. Just angry. I think, and I don't think my goal has changed. I still want to be a world-class trombone player, but my approach to that and the self-talk that goes into it is
Self-talk,
like,
yeah.
it's not like, you know, if you don't do this, you will not be world class. It's put in the time today. You know, put in the time today. That's what makes you world class. Put in your consistency, put in your time. It's okay. And if you put in the time and the consistency is there, you are going to improve. If you have the right approach, you're going to get better. And if you keep the self-talk away, which is probably the hardest thing to do, at least for me, you know, I think you can keep the goal, and then that at least for me, the anger and the frustration came from what I was telling myself I needed to do to get there, as opposed to just cool it. Your goal's not going to change. My goal wasn't ever going to change. So we need to find a new approach.